Would they have predicted that this comes to it in the ace match, Game 7 versus DRG? Maybe not, and Zest is the choice.
7-1 versus Zerg this season. 7-0 in round 4. Tied for first place with 20 wins. He's got a shaky ace match record at 3-7. With a lot of those matches, weird PvPs, awkward mirror matchups. I think you look at this one, DRG's got his biggest challenge yet ahead of him here, but he just won a very tough game, so I feel like his mindset is going to be in the right place.
That's right. I mean, when you're looking at Zest's recent stats, he beat a couple of Zergs in his last games with Rogue and Armani. Clearly, he's used to deal with Zerg players in normal Pro League rounds.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we were talking about how Stats is strong against Zerg, but I feel like Zest is even a bit of a step up, especially in recent times.
It's all down to this, ladies and gentlemen. The winner of this last match on our repeat map Vaani Research Station is going to the next round.
Yep. The ace match, who would have known that it would have come down to this? One final decision to decide the team to move on to the Silver Challenger match, the Kingslayer versus the final boss. Let's get into Vaani Research Station right now. Down in the bottom, in the red, for KT Rolster, the Protoss player, it is Zest.
And his opponent, the final boss for SBENU, it's DRG. An incredible record this season. And now it's all up to him, and his weakest state normally is the final match, the ace match. The final boss has almost been this thing that echoes into his mind as if I was once the best at this, and now I get nervous, now I mess up. But I feel like taking a win like the one he did last game, a very hard-fought win, one of those games where he was ahead and then kind of messed up some things and had to kind of fight his way through that late game, puts you in a great position to play against somebody like this.
Well, let's see how things open up here. Very quick probe scout to start things off as well. But a pile at the top of the ramp, so nothing out of the ordinary though.
Don't think we're going to see a forge here.
No, it should be a gateway at some point.
I think this is just Zest saying, okay, I want to make sure I don't die to something weird on this two-player map. Maybe DRG decides in the moment to go for some kind of very early pool, and Zest just wants to be very safe.
Yeah, could even be looking for a Nexus first, to be honest. He's going to get a look at what's going on here. Sees pretty much just nothing.
He's doing a little bit of mineral harass, which has become quite popular actually in recent times. It kind of faded away for a while. The Huck probe, exactly. The sock folding. He's back. But one of the cool things about this, too, is you can check for gold bases with your probe. When you go this early, you go, okay, no hatch. Where is it? Let me find out exactly where it is.
That's a pretty weird place to put it. It's but I do love it at the same time, as it's going to mean a lot of creep spread out in the map nice and early. And it means he can get that fourth base inside his main, like at that pocket natural. So much easier to defend.
Rogue versus Classic, something that's always going to be in the back of every Protoss player's mind on this map. When you think about, okay, I can't find the hatch. Is he making it in my main base? You got to be stressed out. I got to maybe check my natural. Is he hiding it there? You got to check everywhere. There's so many potential, like standard almost. I mean, this hatchery here is not standard, but it's like almost standard. I mean, it's been used enough times, people will transition with it enough that it's very viable. And so you have to really look for all these potential locations where the hatchery could be, and it's a very scary and stressful thing to do in the early game as a Protoss.
Zest has not checked that location. He's coming back to the fourth base.
I think it might be the next place he goes is going to be that base, the outer fourth. He's got to make sure for sure it ain't that gold, and then from there it's like, okay, where did you put your first natural or your first base? Going to see that second one as well. He should feel a little bit more relieved, and he certainly is going to scout this.
With this pool timing, if he had found it a little bit faster, he might even been able to cannon with this forge, but it's not going to be the case.
It's such a hard place to cannon as well, because, I mean, you cancel the hatchery, but that's all that's useful for. You've invested in cannons that aren't going to do anything for the rest of the game.
There's a million different places to take a base on this map after you cancel.
Yeah, like, really, you'd want to try and cannon the one on the low ground there. And beyond that, it's pretty much it. It's not like any other map where you can just like try and contain it with the cannons after you cancel that hatchery.
Yeah, so we are going to kind of transition into a somewhat normal game here. The DongRaeGu able to get up his natural and is going for a pretty quick third as well. And Zest just going for that Nexus first and to Forge to be safe, even with the cannon and that gateway.
Yeah, just pretty standard opening for Zest. After everything's said and done, like it all normalizes from here. A little bit of a cat and mouse with those hatcheries. But
Sure.
DRG is really setting himself up nicely for the mid-game as well, and for getting that fourth base especially. I do like where he puts his hatcheries.
Yeah, the fourth base and the backdoor expansion is always going to be essentially free at this state in the game. Now, what are you guys thinking? Oracles? I would like to see Oracles here.
Yeah, I can feel Oracles for sure. See if he wants to go into Mothership Stalker first there.
Well, he is going to have a lot of gas saved up here, actually, as he did go into Forge and Nexus, or rather Forge Gateway, and then Cybercore, and it is going to be a Stargate coming out.
Yeah, it makes sense, you know. Always want to try this against two hatcheries. Looks like it might just get scouted out there.
Scouted very early. And, you know, I don't find Zest to be the type of player to Phoenix in this situation. You know, like Classic very well might, but Zest not so much. So let's see if he actually does, now that he's been scouted, go for something a little bit different. Stalker actually going to kill an Overlord here.
Oh,
well,
wow.
maybe not. He barely might get onto that pedestal.
Looks like he should be able to. Also some Lings coming over to possibly distract.
Yeah, at the very least, he can just wait there for the Oracle to come and then deal with it. So, still, he knows where that Overlord is. It's going to be free. It's going to deny a lot of scouting in the mid-game as well. Look at that. Straight to it.
A few extra gates being added for safety as well. Not going to be part of a wall in, though. So he's keeping DRG guessing about what sort of third base situation he's going into in this game.
Yeah. So that +1, 3 gateway sort of move from there. It's pretty standard. Make sure he gets it nice and safe.
Yeah. What are you guys thinking that DRG is going to go into from here? We've seen some players, when they do scout out the Oracle, they go straight into a very quick Hydra Den and go for a Ling Hydra timing off of like 55 drones.
Good map for it. I completely see that happening.
That's what I'm thinking as well. I'm in total agreement. I think that's a good follow-up here. He doesn't see the third Nexus, but he can reasonably assume it's about to go down. 2 Evolution Chambers, though, leads towards more Ling-heavy compositions.
Maybe a lot of the same of last game, to be honest. You know, he wasn't afraid to do it last time. Mutas into a very heavy Ling Hydra. Could be the same way this time around.
Tons of droning. 10 more drones. 12 more drones. He's got the extra queens. He's got spores up.
Oh, this could do something there. Double Oracle. Queen killer.
Yeah, spending a lot of energy and time on this queen, but not worth it.
Yeah, you got to find some damage when there's a spore at every base. Going to find a bunch of transferring drones here. And then just is going to back off.
Yeah, a lot of reuse with these Oracles as well. Can fly back in once there's, the energy's back and the shields are back up. Very easy to snipe drones with too.
I just have to say I'm very impressed with SBENU's performance today. Showing a lot of depth in their lineup. Only really Joxy had that off game.
It was more of a build order loss as well. So it's not like he lost because he was playing horribly or anything. It's just simply like, oh, you made the wrong choice.
Yeah.
Well, Lings could do something here.
Good force fields to deny, though. Nice SimCity. Nothing going to happen.
I think we might see just a pretty quick attack from Zest going into this. You know, he's much more likely to go for a faster +2 Stalker roll-in.
Yeah, with Blink.
Yeah.
Once that Twilight Council finishes up, probably see +2 added with that Blink at the same time. There it is on the production tab.
Yeah.
A lot of extra gates as well.
This is the kind of Protoss player Zest is. I mean, we were talking about this. He loves to put on the pressure. He's not going to say, okay, I finally got a third base. Now let me sit back here for 10, 15 minutes and make the perfect army.
Yeah, I like his style a lot more just for viewership's sake.
Yeah,
it's a lot more entertaining.
And he's also got one of the best control out of any of the players in the entire world. So he knows where his strengths lie.
Exactly.
And he's going to use them.
He's going to use these tools. He's going to use these 2 Oracles. He's going to use this Sentry move out. This isn't the attack. This is like the beginning of the...
This is the pressure.
Yeah, this is the pressure. This is the, oh my god, guess what? It's Zest I'm playing against. I need to make sure I make absolutely no mistakes. 10 Hydras on the way as a reaction to this. But he uses the tools that he makes for himself. He does not sit back and wait for other players to make mistakes. He forces mistakes. That's why Zest is a better player.
Yeah.
Ling's going to try and deny this pylon. Never going to happen there. And now 2 Oracles going to zone them out for the rest of the game. Not going to be finding any sort of counterattack in here.
Look at this Stalker Warp, and this is about to be the attack.
Yep, this is a scary one as well because that fourth base is pretty exposed. Oh, going to let that pylon go.
He's got another one pretty far forward up here on the ledge.
Hydra range almost done. And this pylon will survive. He's got another one on the way. He sees that. He just lets it go. If he can get these Lings on top of the Stalkers, which is going to be a hard task with this many sentries, can fight this with the Hydras head on.
Such a warp in here. This is a scary thing. Is that pure Hydra at the front here too, so force fields are going to mash these.
Yeah, even that pedestal we were talking about earlier is going to work in his favor. Look at this. Time Warp goes down, killing several Hydras early on. And he needs more of them. He's going for a counterattack, actually stopping those warp ins.
This is important too. You know, if he can deny those pylons, the attack stops essentially.
Oh man, Hydra's now starting to fade away, but he's got Lings coming from the other side. There's no force fields here. Spinecrawler's finished, doing a lot of extra damage right now. The Oracles need to be fighting as well. They're actually just using, he's been using them as detection in this fight.
Zest has been fighting for a long time without +2. It finally finishes here. And is there enough Zerg to even then hold this off? There's only 13 Hydras and 13 Lings coming through. Looks like he's gonna have to pull these drones to survive.
He might even let this base go. The Hydras are trying to come out here. The Stalker army is almost all at full health. They're almost all in the green.
Yeah, this is it's going to be a hard fight. Using the drones like this is such an all-in tactic. If he loses this fight, he loses the game. His economy will be completely crippled.
He's not willing to let the hatchery go, though. The Hydra's here getting a decent concave on these Stalkers, but there's just too many of them.
Forward. He's actually going to just take a big fight here, and even the Oracle's getting into the mix. Another big warp in, and it looks like Zest is in a decent shape.
Well,
taking advantage in this game.
A lot of Hydras killing the rest of those Zealots. He needs more Stalker Warpins. He's trying to kite his way back here. It looks like perhaps Zest has taken this win, but DRG is going to try to fight his way with the last few Hydras, the last few Lings about to pop out of this larva. The Zealots doing a lot of good tanking here. Come those Lings from the side. He has to blink back. The hatchery survives the 100 health, but here's that very important Warpin. He's going to actually fight with the Warpin. And he walks off creep. He's got to back up here. 14 Hydras still on the map.
Yeah, and a lot of them in the red and yellow. Remember, these Stalkers, they do have +2. But look at this, some Lings pushing forward, doing some decent tanking. It is incredibly close right now.
The Zealot's actually getting caught behind the Stalkers, and he holds, he pushes him back. A few more Zealot Warpins, though. He needs to fight this right here, right now, before they're in. More and more Lings. He's making pure Lings right now. And actually, he might be able to push this back, pushing now those Stalkers back. The Hydra's free to do so much damage right now. Here come more and more Lings, and he has held it. The base lives, and DRG survives.
Oh, man, this is absolutely insane. The fact that he can push it back like this, break in the army. He's ahead in supply. He's going to maybe start either re-droning that base or go for a kill. He's going to be droning up. He kept that fourth base alive. Huge mistake from Zest to overcommit there.
Yeah, he just pushed way too far forward on that creep. His Warpins were way too far behind. The Hydras all survived for way too long. I also think that very aggressive blink was not really needed.
Yeah, I completely agree with you there.
Yep.
Now a huge Warpin of Zealots, and that's not going to be enough to help him defend this. They have no range. He has no Mothership Core. These Hydras are going to work at this base for so long before he can actually bring anything out to defend this. Queen's coming up at home. He's getting his injects back online.
Same time, you really don't want to see DRG overcommit either, because if he overcommits here, he also throws it in a big way, and it could really come back to bite him with the counterattack once again.
There's a blink, and there's enough Zealots to protect these Stalkers.
When you have just even a few amount of Stalkers, just 5, you can really just chase those units all the way back, but these Lings delaying, buying some time is going to be perfect.
Yeah, I feel like it's just important to know what Moonglade said, but DRG knows he cannot win the game off of this. He's just trying to get his economy back to a survivable level. Another thing that we don't have, as far as I know, and Moonglade, you can check this for me perhaps, is there a robotics facility? Because obviously Colossi would be a great transition here. He's going for Templar instead, as I say this.
Yeah, no robo on the map, which is a huge problem dealing with this composition. But there are other ways to deal with it. If he gets enough, gateway units up, upgrades as well, he's actually making another Oracle. So he's going to try and, I guess, harass his way back into this as well. Storm.
Look at that backdoor base. There's no Spore.
Yeah, that's actually going to help out a lot.
No Queen, even. He could just annihilate that entire base of mining. Or he could use it for detection, clear up that creep as he goes for another attack.
Yeah, there's a lot of ways he can use this. It's even going to do a lot of damage to Hydras if he can get it on top of them.
Yeah.
Finally, a Queen comes out, but
it's still not going to be enough. 60 energy on the Oracle. She'll be happy to kill the Queen and then kill the drones. He needs Hydras over there. One's about to pop out. That's really helpful that it comes out at this exact moment. He can turn it right around.
Well, he's going to try for it. Only 8 drones here, though, so it's not going to be the biggest loss as we see more transfer. Still going to do something. Yeah. He needs every bit he can get.
DRG moving out across the map at the same time right now with a large Hydra army.
He's sitting at about 33 Hydras right now, 66 Slings. Scary position to be in. This is right before Storm is on the map at all.
Charge as well. You know, he doesn't want to drop too many force fields. The block goes out. Hold position while the Hydras just put out an annihilation amount of damage on these Zealots. Look at this concave Hydras. Link streaming in as well. Zealots are fading away. He needs to get those Hydras fighting, though, against the Perilous Army, not against the Nexus.
Yeah, left side is wasting too much damage there. Still, it should be enough to close things out.
So much range. The Archons are pushed away here, and now he's actually working. The shields on the Nexus are nearly gone. Kiting back against those Zealots. He's now going to try to go for the trap.
He's going for the surround on the Hydras. DRG trying to just push back here and get some kind of semblance of a concave, but the Archons are doing a number on all these bio units.
But he kites back.
So far around.
He kites back here. More and more links coming through. He needs to get rid of those Zealots so he can actually kite against the Archons. And it looks like a supply lead now for Zest, who has a massive bank.
Yeah, he's turned this around in a big way. Investing in Storm, investing in Void Rays now. All he has to do is make an army, wait for Storm, and go for the kill. He's kind of made the right composition. He survived somehow during that fight. Just bad positioning from DRG more than anything else.
Exactly. You were saying it exactly correct. Half the army of those Hydras was not even attacking the army.
It was
and
fighting
that
the Nexus.
Can't happen.
Yeah.
That just can't happen.
Yeah, it's like, well, you don't have 33 Hydras if 17 of them are not shooting at the units.
Yeah.
You might as well not even have them. He is trying to remax here. He does have that 4-base economy. What he wants to do here, very importantly, is deny Zest from taking a 4th base, because I feel like as much as we talk about how Zest is overall the better player, is he as good as stats as turtling on 3 bases doing this? I don't think so.
Well, he's in such a good place, he doesn't have to. He's going to try to deal with the Templar, but there's Archons here.
Archons and a ton of charge lights that get right on top of the Lings. I don't even know if he got one Templar there.
I don't think he did.
By the way, that Oracle is on 14 kills now. It actually got back into that base and did a lot more drone damage.
Yeah. There's finally a Spore, which is good to see, but it's already done that damage, as you said.
I want to blow everybody's minds and just let everyone know that DRG held all those attacks until it damaged Dillet fighting with +0 Hydras. As the +1 is now 2/3 from completing.
Well, you know, that says a lot about why that attack failed as well.
Sure.
Because, you know, he just didn't have any upgrades, and he had such bad positioning.
Another tight wall here. Oh, I guess I take it back.
Slippery Lings getting into the main.
There's almost nothing to kill here, though. He's just simply going to bring his units back and defend this. This is a desperation attempt that isn't going to find much at all. Now he's locked in. Oh, I guess not again. Poor Zealot, man.
Zealot's like, woo.
They dunked themselves in oil before they came to this fight.
He needs to get fired, man. Remove that Zealot from the game.
Get the flamethrower upgrade for the Zealots.
He almost bought enough space there to kill the building Nexus with his Hydras, but he wasn't able to do it.
It's such a scary place to be in, though, because you're up against charge lots, you're up against a lot of force fields, and Storm. Like,
and DRG is stuck on Ling Hydra against this.
And you can't fight that army with Ling Hydra. You just can't fight this army.
9 Templar.
No chance at all you're going to fight this army and come on top of it, unless you can remax and fight again and again until there's no Storm left over.
Another Ling run by attempt. Let's see how slippery the Zealot is this time. Nah, he's stapled his feet to the ground.
All right, well, here we go. He's going to try for it.
He wants it, but look at that Storm. His Hydras do not have speed.
No, they do not.
Look at that. You almost never see Hydras move this slow.
Oh, boy. So many Templar. He can feed back the Queens, and more Storms coming down, as well as an excellent time warp.
A great hold for DRG in the early game, but it's not going to be enough. He's typing it out. GGO. KT Roaster will move on. Zest winning that very important ace match, bringing us there. What a day of matches. Did not expect to see such a great series, such a great 7th game.
Yeah, that went way too close. I'm sure Zest was sweating during that one. Can't believe he actually turned that around, but just an unfortunate fight from DRG is all it took, and enough space was built for Zest to get into that Storm and scary composition.
Yep. Also, Zest, kind of unfortunate fight for himself, where it looked like he was in the lead with that pressure with the +2 and the blink, but a very aggressive blink, threw a lot of his stalkers away, got out of position, was away from his warpins. DRG wasn't really able to punish him, though, especially on that really long, thin map. It is a 2-player map. It takes a long time to get across, especially with how much creep was cleared up by the Oracles with the detection. He just wasn't really able to punish Zest on the back of that, and he was able to hold on 3-base. And even that Oracle as well that got 14 kills was a very important part of this game as well.
Yeah, that was a game changer, slowing down the economy lead from DRG in a big way, and that's the only thing he had going for him at that point.
Wow, what a great showing from SBENU today, regardless of not being able to take it and move on. I think a lot of people are expecting 4-0 or a 4-1 looking into this one, but MMA, Curious, and DRG pulled their weight. They said no. MMA taking out Flash with a cool timing attack. Curious able to beat Life in a straight-up ZVZ. Then Stats was really what brought things back until he hit DRG, the final boss, who was able to keep himself alive versus Zest, but not take the final win.
Yeah, fantastic games all around. Yeah, SBENU really came prepared, as expected. I mean, they can mix it with the best of teams, and no surprise it took them to Game 7 here.
I'm curious to see how KT Rolster is going to do tomorrow against CJ Antis. You know, they were able to take down SBENU, but CJ Antis is a whole other new monster with a ton of other incredibly strong players.
Now, yeah, that's going to be our match for tomorrow. Starting maps, map list, and players should be live in about an hour and a half or so, around 10:30 KST are usually when that gets announced. So as soon as that information is up, the three of us will be tweeting it out there, spreading the word about that. So, of course, everybody wants to know who they're going to send out, what the map is. It's hard for us to predict who the first players are going to be at this point in time simply because the maps have not been announced yet. But I wouldn't be too surprised to see Flash come out as the first player for KT Rolster yet again.
Flash, you know, it wouldn't be a bad choice. I guess it really depends on the map, and more than anything else, like who's confident to go out first.